I grip the steering wheel tighter as the iron gates of my parents' estate swing open. The drive toward their Connecticut mansion always feels like crossing into a different universe, one where I am forever an outsider, looking through glass. Autumn leaves crunch beneath my tires, their gold and crimson brilliance mocking the emptiness settling inside my chest. My charcoal pencil skirt and burgundy blouse are elegant, but deliberately modest, carefully chosen for their 35th anniversary celebration. Experience has taught me that my mother prefers I remain unobtrusive, a quiet presence, rather than someone who draws attention. Before I even reach for my purse on the passenger seat, Eliza's silver Mercedes glides up behind me. In the rearview mirror, I watch her step out wearing a shimmering gold dress that captures the late afternoon sunlight like liquid fire. Perfect timing, as always. The front door swings open immediately, as if summoned by her arrival. My father stands tall in a perfectly tailored suit, my mother glowing beside him in pale blue silk. Their faces transform with radiant joy as Eliza approaches them. "There's our princess," my mother calls, her arms wide with welcome. My father pulls Eliza into a warm embrace, lifting her slightly from the ground. The guest of honor has arrived. I step out of my car, smoothing my skirt carefully. My mother glances at me over Eliza's shoulder, her smile dimming just enough for only me to notice. "Veronica, you made it." A statement rather than a greeting. My father gives me a brief pat on the shoulder before turning his full attention back to Eliza. "Sweetheart, wait until you see the decorations. We truly surpassed ourselves this year." Inside, the grand foyer gleams with crystal and silver. Towering arrangements of white roses and lilies spill from oversized vases, their fragrance nearly overwhelming. A string quartet performs softly in the corner, the melody drifting through the air. Nothing but the finest for Robert and Eleanor White's anniversary. I make my way toward the dining room entrance, where an elegant seating chart rests on an antique stand. My finger follows the flowing calligraphy until I find my name. Table 14, far corner, near the kitchen doors, positioned 6 tables away from my parents and Eliza. "We wanted to make sure you had opportunities to network," my mother says, suddenly appearing beside me. "The Hendersons will be at your table. They're always seeking tech consultants." I nod, swallowing the familiar ache that rises in my throat. "How thoughtful." She pats my arm absent-mindedly before drifting away to greet other guests. Nearby, the event planner, a slender woman clutching her clipboard like armor, intercepts my mother near the staircase. I head toward the bar, but their conversation carries clearly across the marble floor. "About the photographs, Mrs. White," the planner says. "We've scheduled the photographer for 7:30. Will that work for the family portraits?" My mother lowers her voice to a stage whisper. "That's fine, but please make sure we get one with just the 3 of us, Robert, myself, and Eliza. That's the one we'll enlarge for the living room." My hand freezes around the champagne flute a server has just handed me. The 3 of them. Not 4, never 4. The young waiter notices my expression and silently refills my glass with a sympathetic look before slipping away. I retreat to a quiet alcove by the window as memories surge uninvited. Thanksgiving at 8 years old, seated at the children's table while Eliza, only 5, sat proudly between our parents. Christmas mornings where her gifts overflowed across the floor while mine fit beneath a single branch. My high school debate championship, where my parents arrived just as the ceremony ended, having attended every minute of Eliza's elementary choir rehearsal beforehand. The pattern had been established early and never changed. Veronica, the afterthought. Eliza, the adored center. By 16, I had found refuge in worn business books borrowed from the library. While Eliza collected participation ribbons from hobbies she quickly abandoned, I drafted business proposals at the kitchen table. A student concierge service. My father barely glanced at the detailed plan. "Honey, focus on your studies. Leave business ideas to professionals." That same month, Eliza's uneven watercolor of our house was professionally framed and displayed in the front hallway. My Regional Young Entrepreneur Award gathered dust in my closet. The doorbell rings again. Guests stream inside, naturally drawn to Eliza's bright laughter in the center of the room. I remain near the margins, guiding Aunt Susan to her seat, directing Uncle William toward the restrooms. "Veronica," my father calls while passing, not quite looking at me. "Make sure the caterers don't forget the special champagne for the toast. The Veuve, not the Moet." I straighten my posture and nod. Of course. Not a guest to celebrate, not a daughter to cherish. Simply another pair of hands ensuring the evening proceeds flawlessly. A celebration where I exist only as background. 15 minutes later, as guests settle, the gentle clinking of silverware fades when my father rises at the head of the table. His silver hair gleams beneath the chandelier light, his custom tuxedo accentuating his still commanding presence. He raises his glass and the room falls silent. 35 years, he begins, his voice resonating through the hall. 35 years of building a legacy, a home, and a family. His gaze sweeps the room before resting warmly on Eliza. And nothing embodies that legacy more than our beautiful daughters, especially our Eliza, who brings sunshine wherever she goes. I maintain the practiced smile perfected over decades as he recounts a story of 5-year-old Eliza singing at their 20th anniversary. No mention of 15-year-old me who had organized the entire event. He speaks of Eliza's graduation, her volunteer work, her artistic passions. 10 minutes pass. My name never surfaces. To Eleanor, my heart and foundation, he says, raising his glass higher. And to Eliza, the greatest gift our marriage has produced. My mother rises, tears shimmering, and embraces Eliza while the guests applaud. I clap with them, standing alone. Across the room, Cousin Thomas meets my gaze and subtly shakes his head. Aunt Barbara studies her napkin with sudden fascination. Uncle Philip checks his watch. They know. They have always known. I exhale slowly, keeping my expression composed. CEO face, James calls it. The mask that reveals nothing during negotiations when millions are at stake. Tonight, it conceals something far more personal. And now, my father announces a special presentation. My mother produces a red leather box from under the table. The distinctive Cartier packaging gleams beneath the lights. The room stills. For the true fruit of our 35 years together, my father declares, his voice thick with emotion. He places the box into Eliza's hands. She opens it to reveal a diamond-encrusted watch blazing with reflected light. The Santos de Cartier, my father says proudly, custom designed with Eleanor's birthstone at 12. A whisper circulates. $15,000. Eliza squeals and throws herself into their arms. They form a flawless portrait of devotion while I remain at my assigned table near the kitchen doors. No second box appears. No acknowledgement for the firstborn.
When the applause subsides, I slip quietly toward the bar. Aunt Margaret intercepts me, her arthritic fingers closing around my wrist. Join me for some air, dear.
That explains why my Series C funding announcement vanished from the family newsletter, I murmur. The same month Eliza began selling homemade soaps. Your $40 million investment round appeared in paragraph 12, Margaret says, beneath Philip Jr.'s soccer results. My phone vibrates. James' message appears. How's the royal coronation? Escape plan ready? A genuine smile surfaces. I reply quickly. Standing by, may require extraction. Uncle William joins us, bourbon in hand, his eyes softer than my father's. Quite a watch, he remarks, almost as impressive as that tech award you won last month. Shame it wasn't mentioned. Innovation Leadership Award, I correct gently. Your success makes them uncomfortable, he murmurs. A waiter refills my glass with a quiet nod, a small kindness amid calculated slights. My childhood friend Sarah approaches, squeezing my hand. I saw everything, she whispers. Want to sneak out like junior prom? Before I answer, my assistant calls. Veronica White, I answer professionally. Miss White, Alexis says, there's an urgent issue with the Singapore client. Give me 10 minutes. The event planner announces family photos. Guests gather on the grand staircase. I take my position at the far edge of the lowest step. The photographer arranges us efficiently. Flash, click, done. Now, my mother says, just the 3 of us for the special portrait. She never looks at me. She doesn't need to. They reposition themselves, mother, father, favored daughter. The real family, the complete family. I remain where I stand as the final images are captured. That photograph will hang in their living room, a permanent testament to my place in the family hierarchy. Nowhere. I slip away while they raise a champagne toast and retreat to my father's office, resulting a work issue with my assistant. After 15 minutes reviewing charts and proposals, we send the revised plan. Exhaustion settles over me. Seeking a moment of quiet, I climb the familiar staircase toward my childhood bedroom. When I open the door, my breath catches. This is no longer my room. Eliza's pageant crowns glitter where my books once stood. Her sorority photographs replace my certificates. The walls, once soft green, now glow lavender. They had not even waited for me to remove my belongings. My fingers trace the space where my desk once stood, now a vanity cluttered with cosmetics. Her trophies fill the shelves. Her childhood toys occupy the window seat where I once read for hours. I open the closet. A single cardboard box remains, labeled Veronica Misk. Inside lie my diplomas, my Young Entrepreneur Award, my graduation tassel tangled among them. Everything that represents my achievements, my identity, my life, packed away like seasonal decorations. A crystal clarity washes over me. Nothing will ever change. I will always be the box in the corner, the afterthought, the chair by the kitchen door. I sit on the edge of the bed, now covered in a lavender duvet. My hand brushes something hard beneath the pillow. Curious, I pull out an old book, my grandmother's copy of Jane Eyre. My name is written inside the cover in her elegant handwriting. To my Veronica, a girl who will forge her own path. With love, Grandma Margaret. I remember how Grandma would pull me aside at family gatherings, her eyes twinkling as she slipped me books. while Eliza opened mountains of gifts. Books build inner worlds, she would whisper, where nobody can tell you who to be. As I turn the pages, an envelope slips out, yellowed with age but sealed with wax bearing my grandmother's initial. My name is written across the front. The laughter from the party drifts upstairs as I break the seal. The letter inside is dated 3 weeks before Grandma died, nearly 5 years ago. My dearest Veronica, if you're reading this, you finally sought refuge in the pages of Jane Eyre. I knew this day would come when the weight of invisibility became too much to bear. I recognized the pattern all too well. Your grandfather's family treated me just as yours treats you, as though I were a supporting character in someone else's story. But know this, my darling, you are the protagonist of your own life. I have made arrangements with Mr. Abernathy at the bank. There is an account in your name only containing both funds and my personal journals. The code to access it is the date we visited the Metropolitan Museum, just the two of us. This is not about money, though that will help. This is about legacy. You are my true heir in spirit, the one who carries my determination. The quiet ones observe, learn, and ultimately succeed where the celebrated ones falter. Remember, Veronica, sometimes family is who sees you, not who shares your name. With endless faith in you, Grandma Margaret. The tears come hot and fast, blurring the words. She knew. All those years she saw what was happening and prepared this lifeline. My grandmother, the only person in this house who ever truly saw me. I reach for my phone, needing to connect with people who value me. 3 messages await from my business partners. James, how's the family circus? Remember, our dinner reservation is still on standby if you need an escape route. Michelle, that acquisition meeting went perfectly. The board voted unanimously in your favor. You're a genius, Fee. Remind your family of that when they put you at the kids' table. David, we're all here when you need us. Your real family. My fingers hover over the screen before I type back. Grandma left me a letter, and apparently an inheritance. I think it's time for me to stop waiting for a place at their table. Their responses come immediately. James, about time. We've been saving you a chair at the head of ours for years. Michelle, whatever you decide, we're with you. David, your grandmother sounds like the only smart one besides you. I think back to how they rallied around me when we started the company. How they defended me when clients assumed James was the CEO. How they celebrated every milestone with genuine joy for my success. How different from the hollow congratulations from my parents, always followed by, but Eliza. My jaw tightens. I slide the letter into my purse and walk to the wall where a family photo from my high school graduation hangs. I'm on the edge, as always. I remove it from the frame, carefully cut myself free from the border, and place the small photo in my wallet. In Mom's dressing room, I spot Grandma's brooch pinned to a scarf borrowed years ago and never returned. I unpin it gently, feeling its weight in my palm before securing it to my blouse. Downstairs, I spot Mr. Abernathy, my parents' financial advisor, sipping champagne near the garden doors. I approach with newfound confidence. Mr. Abernathy, I believe we have some business to discuss.
I hand him my card. At your convenience, of course. His eyes widen slightly as he reads, Veronica White, CEO, White Innovations. He tucks it carefully into his pocket. I've been following your company's growth. Impressive work. Your grandmother would be proud. Yes, I say softly. I believe she would. The party swirls around me as I walk through the crowd, head higher than it's been all evening. No one notices as I hand my ticket to the valet. No one sees as my car pulls away from the house. In the rearview mirror, the lights of the party grow smaller. Tears stream down my face, but my breathing steadies. My phone buzzes with a text from Eliza. Where are you? They're about to cut the cake. I don't reply. Instead, I touch Grandma's brooch, feeling its contours beneath my fingers. The road ahead is clear and open. For the first time in 32 years, I'm not driving toward my parents' approval, but away from their dismissal. The empty chair I leave behind can stay empty. I have a different seat waiting for me, at a different table, with people who make room in their hearts. The crisp autumn air fills my lungs as I step out of my car at La Fontaine. The restaurant's warm golden glow spills onto the sidewalk, a beacon after the cold shadow of my parents' estate. My hands have finally stopped trembling on the steering wheel. 40 minutes of driving with tears blurring the road had been dangerous, but necessary. Some distances can't be measured in miles. Through the windows, I spot them already gathered at our usual corner table. James, Caitlin, and Robert, my business partners, my chosen family. They haven't seen me yet, but they're waiting. Champagne already poured. The maitre d' spots me before I can reach the door. Miss White, we've been expecting you. His genuine smile creates crinkles around his eyes. Your friends are waiting. Shall I take your coat? Inside, the restaurant hums with quiet conversation and the gentle clink of silverware on fine china. The scents of garlic, butter, and fresh herbs replace the cloying perfume of my mother's white roses. James looks up first, his face brightening. There she is. I slide into my waiting chair. The
the one that's always reserved for me, not 6 tables away from the people I care about. You actually escaped, Caitlin says, reaching for my hand. We were betting on whether you'd make it before dessert. James lifts his champagne flute. To the woman who built something real, he says. While others were planning parties, you were planning the future. The words unlock something in my chest. My smile, the first authentic one of the evening, feels foreign on my face, like a muscle long unused. My phone buzzes in my purse. Then again, and again. Let me guess, Robert says, eyebrows raised. The search party has been deployed? I pull out my phone. 3 texts from Eliza, each more frantic than the last. Where did you go? Mom is furious. Are you seriously ditching the anniversary? The screen changes to an incoming call. My mother. I decline it, but her voicemail follows seconds later. Veronica, I can't believe you would cause a scene by leaving early. People are asking questions. Call me immediately. My father's message arrives next, his voice tight with controlled anger. You've missed Senator Harris and the Douglases. They were specifically asking about tech consultants. Call your mother. I set the phone face down on the table. Not one of them asked if I was okay. Of course not, James says, refilling their glass. That would require seeing you as a person rather than an extension of themselves. Another message from my mother. Emergency meeting tomorrow at 2. You cannot escape this time. The restaurant door opens. A rush of cool air accompanies 2 figures I recognize immediately. Alicia from marketing and Devin from our development team. Did we miss it? Devin asks, breathless, waving his phone. The news just broke. My stomach tightens. Already? It wasn't supposed to hit until morning. James shrugs. Someone leaked. These things happen. Every phone at our table lights up simultaneously. Then nearby tables too. The notification catches like wildfire across the restaurant. Breaking. White Innovations acquired by Stellar Tech for estimated $75 million. The calls begin almost immediately. Industry contacts, former clients, college professors who remember my early ambitions, each one expressing genuine excitement for my success. The restaurant owner appears with a bottle of their finest reserve. On the house, he says. My daughter used your productivity software to finish law school. Congratulations on your success. 2 more colleagues arrive, then 3 more. Our corner of the restaurant transforms into an impromptu celebration. We have something for you, Caitlin says, during a lull. She places a small, carefully wrapped package in my hands. Inside the tissue paper lies a framed photograph I've never seen before, my grandmother at my age, sitting at her desk in the small accounting practice she built during a time when women were expected to stay home. Her eyes hold the same determined glint I see in the mirror. Where did you find this? I whisper, running my finger along the silver frame. Your Aunt Margaret. She thought you should have it tonight of all nights. Later, as I came back to my apartment, I opened my laptop. The email to my family forms slowly, deliberately. No mention of the acquisition. No details they can use to make my success about them. Just clear boundaries about my participation in future family events. I left early because I needed to be where I was welcome. I wish you both a happy anniversary, but I will no longer attend events where I'm treated as an afterthought rather than a daughter. Goda. My finger hovers over the send button. Not yet. Tonight belongs to those who see my worth without needing headlines to prove it. I close the laptop. For the first time in years, the weight of expectation lifts from my shoulders. Around me, faces shine with genuine affection. No hidden agendas, no conditional love. Tomorrow will bring complications. Tonight, I'm exactly where I belong. The next day, for the meeting, I choose the Meridian for our meeting deliberately. A sleek restaurant on the 40th floor of Hartford's newest skyscraper. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame the Connecticut River like artwork. A power spot. My territory, not theirs. Melissa, my executive assistant, arrives with me precisely 5 minutes before 2. Remember, she whispers, arranging files on the table. I'll signal when 30 minutes have passed. I nod, smoothing the burgundy silk blouse I selected for today. Armor, not appeasing attire. My parents arrive 7 minutes late. Mother's pearl necklace gleams against her cashmere sweater. Father's custom suit probably cost more than most people's monthly mortgage. They hesitate at the sight of Melissa, clearly thrown by her presence. I wasn't aware this was a business meeting, Father says, glancing pointedly at Melissa's portfolio. Just some documents I might need. My voice remains neutral. Melissa, thank you for bringing these. Before they can object further, the hostess leads Eliza toward our table. My stomach tightens. Of course they brought reinforcements. Traffic was awful, Eliza says, sliding into the chair beside Mother. Her eyes dart nervously between us. The golden child sent as emotional bait. Mother dabs at her eyes before we've even ordered water. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it was? People asked where you'd gone, and he was? Family members noticed your empty seat, Father adds, leaning forward.
The Hendersons specifically asked about you. The Hendersons. Always the business connection. Never concerned for me. I left after being excluded from the family photograph, I state simply. The one Mother specifically requested with, just the three of us. Mother's hand flutters to her throat. You overheard that? It was just one photo, Veronica. Don't be dramatic. One photo that perfectly captures 32 years of family dynamics. Melissa silently slides a folder toward me. I open it, removing childhood photographs I'd collected and arranged chronologically. Christmas, 1998. I place the first photo on the table. Eliza front and center. Me cropped halfway out of the frame. That was just a bad angle, Mother protests. I lay down another, my high school graduation. You both looking at Eliza while I hold my diploma. This is ridiculous, Father huffs. We attended, didn't we? The waiter approaches. Father orders expensive scotch. Mother requests sparkling water. Eliza mimics her choice. Just coffee, black, I tell the waiter, who nods and withdraws. Eliza leans forward, voice rehearsed. I felt attacked when you left, Veronica, like you were punishing me for being loved. The calculated guilt trips don't work anymore. I simply wake. We told the family you had work stress, Mother finally admits. That you've been under pressure. People understand burnout. How convenient. I sip water, letting the silence stretch uncomfortably. You've rewritten my absence into something that requires neither explanation nor accountability from you. Father's face darkens. You have obligations to this family. Your grandmother would be ashamed of your behavior. My laugh surprises even me. Grandmother left me a letter and funds specifically designated for me alone. I removed the letter from my folder. She recognized the pattern when she was still alive. Mother pales. What letter? What funds? The ones you never told me about. The inheritance I discovered after her death. Father slams his hand on the table, making the glassware jump. You and your business, playing entrepreneur instead of joining a respectable firm. You think I don't see what this is about. Attention-seeking, just like when you were little. Robert, Mother hisses, glancing around. People are starting to notice. Success has changed you, Mother says, leaning forward. You used to understand family comes first. Eliza's mascara smudges as tears form. You always needed to make everything about you. Even my moments have to become about your feelings. Their tactics might have wounded me once. Now I see them clearly for what they are. Manipulation, not love. You're right about one thing, I say calmly. Success has changed me. It's shown me I deserve a seat at tables where I'm valued, not merely tolerated. I see. I place my business card in the center of the glass table. The embossed letters gleam. Veronica White, CEO, White Innovations. My company closed a $75 million acquisition last week. The news broke yesterday evening during your celebration dinner. Their stunned expressions would be comical if they weren't so sad. If you wish to have a relationship moving forward, it will be on new terms. Equal respect. No more exclusion, no more Veronica in the corner while Eliza takes center stage. Father recovers first. Now listen here. No, I interrupt, standing. You've had 32 years to speak. I've had my say today. I gather my things while they sit frozen. Melissa follows my lead. I'd like a relationship with all of you, I say, voice softening slightly. But I no longer need one. There's a difference. Mother's hand trembles around her water glass. Father's jaw clenches. Eliza looks utterly lost, perhaps seeing for the first time how the family system worked and how it's now breaking. Congratulations again on your anniversary, I say, straightening my shoulders. I truly wish you happiness. I walk away without looking back, each step lighter than the last. Their silence follows me to the elevator, but for once, it doesn't define me. The doors slide closed on their stunned faces, and I exhale 32 years of waiting. To matter. My reflection in the polished elevator doors shows something unfamiliar on my face. Peace. I stand in my penthouse kitchen, watching the spring sunset paint Hartford skyline gold. 6 months since I walked away from my parents' anniversary dinner. 6 months of rebuilding on my terms. The antique mahogany table gleams in my dining room, set with grandmother's Wedgwood china, delicate blue flowers against creamy porcelain. I trace my finger along the edge, where generations of white women once gathered. The same table where I was relegated to the far end, if invited at all.
Last month, when Father decided to downsize their formal dining room, I outbid everyone at the estate auction. The table came home with me, not as a peace offering, but as a reclamation. The doorbell chimes. James arrives first, a bottle of Barolo in one hand, a portfolio in the other. Latest projections for the mentorship program, he says, kissing my cheek. 28 applicants already. Women entrepreneurs who need more than just funding, I say. They need someone who sees their potential. Sarah follows with her husband, then my executive team, 2 college professors who serve on my foundation board, and my attorney Margot, who helped draft the Family Therapy Center donation in grandmother's name. While they mingle, I slip into my office, where grandmother's letter hangs framed beside my window. Remember, Veronica, we choose which chairs matter. Her words guided me through my TED Talk last month, finding worth beyond family validation. The video already has 300,000 views. My phone buzzes with a text from Eliza. They're still talking about you missing Easter dinner. Dad keeps calling it another stunt. Our cautious reconnection happens in secret texts and occasional coffee meetings. Without our parents watching, she's finding her voice, asking questions about starting community college. Small steps toward her own identity. A knock at my office door. Package just arrived for you, James says, handing me a small bubble mailer. Inside, a faded photograph. Eliza and Mia, age 6 and 9, arms linked, laughing, on a tire swing. On the back, in my sister's writing, we were happy before they taught us not to be. I tuck the photo into my pocket and return to my guests. They've gathered around the table, wine glasses filled, conversation flowing. No one checking their watch or measuring their words. No subtle jockeying for favor. I take my place at the head of the table. My place. Not earned through manipulation or birthright, but offered freely by people who value my presence. To Veronica, James says, raising his glass, whose White Family Foundation just awarded its first scholarship, to that brilliant girl from Bridgeport. To second chances, adds Sarah. I stand, feeling the weight of grandmother's brooch pinned above my heart. To chairs that matter, I say, and the people who fill them. Later, as my guests depart, I linger at the empty table. Tomorrow, I'll host again. Place cards already written in my hand for each person who chose me. Not out of obligation, but genuine connection. At the far end stands one empty chair. Not a place of exile, but a reminder of what I left behind and what I found instead. I run my fingers across the polished wood of grandmother's table. Now mine. Now filled with laughter instead of judgment, with genuine interest instead of performance. The chair that matters most is the one where you're truly seen. And finally, I am.